Hey there, we're gonna make this baby shark doo-doo-doo card together in Design Space, and then I'm gonna show you how to assemble it once we've got all the pieces cut out. But first of all, I'm gonna show you how to set it up in your Design Space. And I'm sorry in advance that this song's probably gonna get stuck in your head while you're working. I don't even have little ones, and just from being in the classroom and stuff, and then around little ones, it's stuck in my head frequently. So I figured I'd make a card about it. So what we're going to do first is go to your Cricut Design Space, get that launched. Okay, whether it's on your desktop or the internet. Okay, you're going to create a new project, and you are going to upload the file that you downloaded. Okay, so it should, we'll just walk through it. You just click upload and then browse, figure out where you have it located at, right? And so mine's right here in this project area. I just click on this and then click open, and it will upload, and it's going to look like this. And then I'm going to tell it close because I don't need to change the name or add any tags or anything to it. It's just my stuff. Okay, so save. And you'll see I've got it in there twice because I've already done this one time before. So if you accidentally have it in there more times and you'd like to delete it, you can click on this I right here, which is for more information, and then click delete, and that'll delete any previous files that you don't want in your project area anymore. Okay, so then you're going to click on this SVG file, and when it's highlighted green like this, you know that it's selected, and you can select multiples. If we had more than one file, we could click on more than one to upload it. To deselect it, you just click on it again and it'll deselect. Okay, so the shark is selected. We're going to click insert image, and it's going to come in. Actually, this one comes in perfectly, like at the size that we need, so you're not even going to have to resize it this time. Okay, this is the card base, like the background, and then this is the card insert that's actually going to allow us to pop up that shark. And we'll see if we need it, but we might need to put some score lines there. Let's just wait and see. If you open this and you have score lines, it's because we needed them, and I wasn't sure before I actually made the card. So I've already made him once, but I haven't made this part once. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is ungroup, and that's going to take these so that they're not connected together anymore. Most of these things are all going to cut separately, and we're fine with that. We have to do a few little things though to these cards to make sure that these turn into score lines and stay attached to that card and actually score it down the center so it's easier for you to fold. Okay, this card over here is 4.5 by 5 so it's going to fold to be 4.5 by 5 inches in dimension. So it is currently 9 inches tall and 5 inches wide. You don't have to have this one cut by your Cricut if you don't want to, but if you want to and have it scored, then just leave it in there. Okay, so when I click on this, you'll see that it's still grouped together with this score line. So I'm going to ungroup that, and then I'm going to select this score line, and I'm going to tell it to change to score. And it's right above the card itself, so I'm just going to hit shift on my keyboard and click here so that those two things are connected, and I'm going to attach them. And that's telling Design Space to make sure this line stays in the center of this box and cut and then scores the way that I want it to. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing with this, and when I click on this card insert, I can see that these are all still grouped together. So I'm going to ungroup, and then I'm going to click on this line, and it's still grouped again. So I'm going to ungroup one more time, click on this line, and then tell it score. And now that that's done, I want to select the card, and then I want to select all of this stuff in the background. Okay, and then I'm going to attach them. Okay, so what that did is it keeps these cut lines with this card. You can't see them right now because they're behind this layer. We could actually move, let's see, let's unattach for just a second. We can move this down so that it's behind. I think we can. Should be able to anyway. There we go. So it's behind those lines, and then we can see them better. So I just grabbed that layer and then click and hold to drag. Okay. So if you need to move things to see what's behind it, you can. I'm going to select these again and then click attach. So now this is all set up and ready to cut. I'm going to click make it, and it's going to sort out by matte color. Okay, we've got his face and the bubble pieces. I usually just scan through to make sure everything's there. The card outside, the do's. I think we should go back. let's connect these. That way, if you wanted to like cut them out of vinyl and use transfer tape, you could. So I'm going to attach those so that it's not just a bunch of D's and a bunch of O's when it cuts. And then I can decide if I want to do it with cardstock or vinyl. So just select across each of those doos. Oops, I don't want the fin. And attach to the fin. So Command Z, or just use this undo button up here to undo any mistakes. Okay. So that's one reason why I scan through all my mats, just to make sure it's going to cut the way that I want it to. Okay, so I'm going to click Make It again. I've got the face and all the bubble pieces. Those are kind of far apart. You can select your mats and then rearrange where things cut, which is super handy if you're just using scraps of paper instead of using a whole piece. Like if I had a piece of 6x3, I could move these down underneath so that they cut underneath him, and I wouldn't need a piece that was bigger than 5 inches across. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're cutting. If you want to use scrap paper, you can. You just have to rearrange your mats and the objects on your mats before you actually start cutting. And you can, these ones could be cutting, and I could come down here and start rearranging these. So there's eyeballs, there's doos. And so we can rearrange these so that they were closer and more stacked on top of each other, which would take up a smaller piece of material. Okay, and all I'm doing is just click, hold, and drag. This is the insert with the pop-up. There's his mouth. We want it to be behind, and we needed some room for gluing, so it's a little bit bigger than his actual jaw is. There's one of the seaweeds. There's two of the seaweeds. There's these seaweeds. I'm not sure why they didn't go closer together. Drag them. I'm going to use a longer piece of paper, cardstock, so I'm going to drag these under. If you've got a short, wide one, you can keep them up next to each other. It's all about what you've got for paper. So this is really weird. Usually it doesn't overlap things like this. And I was using the desktop version earlier, so I'm wondering if that's messing some stuff up. Okay, shark and extra shark pieces. And for some reason this shape didn't close, which is why it's see-through, but it still cuts out fine, so I'm just going to leave that. Okay, so now that that's there, we're going to click continue and select our material. I'm going to be doing this out of cardstock. You can be doing it out of pattern paper, whatever you choose for your card. So I'm going to leave this part up to you, but you can either choose pattern paper or copy paper or whatever kind of paper it is you're using. I just usually use cardstock. It'll tell you which blade to start with. When we get down here, it's going to tell us to use the score blade. Okay, so from here you just follow the directions of your Cricut, load your mats as you go with your colors of paper that you choose, and I will see you when we're ready to start assembling all this. Okay, as you're cutting, you're going to have to change your blade because you're going to need to use the scoring blade. So the way that you do that, your screen will actually tell you that you need to put a score blade in, okay? And the scoring blade looks like this. It should have a 01 on it, okay? And this housing on the top. So you just pop this open, okay? Remove this blade, and I usually just set it upside down in here. I don't put it blade side down because I don't want to like break the tip of my blade. Sometimes I just put it here on the counter, but sometimes the cat plays with it and then it rolls away. So then you just line these little cogs up, okay? Put them inside so that they're touching those other cogs that are down inside your machine. Flip that closed and then grab this one so that it's in front, and then you just push so that it latches tight. Okay, you can usually just do that one-handed if you need to. Sometimes I'll just do it while I'm sitting at my craft bench working on something else and I know that it needs to be changed. Once that's done, then you just click the flashing C, and your computer will register that you've actually got it on. And the machine will be happy, and then it'll start its scoring, and then it's going to ask me to change it back to the cut blade, and you just do that the exact same way. Okay, are you ready to put this little shark pop-up card together? The first thing we need to do is go ahead and fold your card bases and then just put them out of the way. So you either cut this out of a 9x5 and you're ready to fold it in half, or you had your machine cut it out and score it so that you just have to go along that line. So you should have a card that looks like this. We're going to set that aside. And then the pop-up part, is this piece right here, okay? And basically you're just gonna fold these parts out towards you and kind of along that score line to get it started, okay? While you fold this piece backwards, okay? So the score line is basically gonna have to go 2 different ways. And you might have to like kind of finesse it into the direction that you want it to go. Okay. Once you have that, you should be able to push those from the back side and then fold it flat. The problem is there's no score lines on those, and I might have to go put some score lines along that piece there so that it does what we want it to do. I think we're getting it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put score lines on there so that that's a little bit easier for you. I didn't do it for myself, and this one's not popping out the way it's supposed to. Okay, so once you have that, and it's gonna be a little bit easier for you than it is gonna be for me this first time. I did the shark and everything, and then I changed my idea for the pop-up. So, okay, so there's the pop-up. This insert is just a tiny bit smaller than your card so that it's gonna fit in there like that, okay? And then the shark is gonna go here, and we're gonna put some little seaweeds there, okay? Let's go ahead and put our shark together. So start with the blue. I'm going to add his mouth to the back, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the back side of his mouth so that I don't accidentally get the glue on the red parts that are going to be visible. Okay. So scooch that over a little. And don't worry about all of it not showing up. I think what happened there is the white face is going to be in front, and I didn't account for that on the red. Might make that a little bit bigger for you too. Okay, so then his face, where is the white part of his face with his teeth, you're going to go ahead and put glue along in the edges of his teeth and along his little fins there, because they're going to actually go in front of the blue part of his fins. Okay. And I am not sure what's up with his mouth there, because that red was plenty big enough. Maybe I went down too low. Excuse me while I mess mine up. I'll get some more glue for that later. There's some more red. Okay, so there's our shark, and this part is the top of his fin. It kind of gives him just a little bit more dimension. Okay, so this dark blue. If you want to ink any of this, feel free. I'm not inking today. Okay, so I did a little bit of fussy cutting on there just because I'd cut his fin out of a different file when it was a little bit bigger. So not to worry there, it's the same idea. Okay, so then these are gonna go here for his little eyes, and just a little bit of darkness to kind of give it some dimension. I think my nose piece is going to be a little big too, because I cut this out previously also. And then I resized a few things. I thought I was saving myself some time and some materials by not cutting it again, but I was wrong. Okay, so there's his little nose, and then we're going to glue down this other eye. Okay, so that's the backs of his eyes. Then you're gonna need a lighter. Like you can either cut this one out of like a light blue or a white. I had it cut out of a light blue. So it might be kind of hard to see on the camera, but it's just an off shade of kind of like an eggshell blue, just to give a little bit more dimension with some different colors on there. I haven't taken his eyeballs off the cutting mat yet because I didn't want to lose them. So his little irises are right here. And you might need, depending on if your cutter cut it or not, the little whites of his eyes might need to be poked out with like a paper piercer or something, or the sharp end of your scissors, just kind of something to give it a little bit of a poke. Even a pencil will work. Okay, put a little bit of glue on that. And then just adjust those so he's looking at whatever you want him to be looking at. See, like this one, the little white part didn't come out, so then just a little dab of glue on that too. Wipe off some of the extra so it doesn't go everywhere. then rearrange where you want it. There we go. Okay, so your shark is pretty much done with that, okay? And you are going to attach it to this part right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue him on there. And then that'll give me kind of an idea of where I want to put everything else. And make sure that he is the main focal point there. And it gives the glue some time to dry. I'm going to squish this flat so I can get some really good pressure on there. And while that's drying, let's go ahead and put our bubbles together, okay? So you should have 2 big bubbles and 4 little bubbles, and so then there'll be 2 big reflections and 4 little reflections. And I used some of them inside the card, and then I used some of them outside the card. And I've got some diamond glaze, but I'm not sure what part I wanted to put it on yet. I haven't decided if I want to put it on a reflection or actually on the bubble itself. If I put it on the bubble itself, it's going to be a lot of diamond glaze, but I've had it for years and it kind of needs to be used up. So I might experiment on a piece of paper and see what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. The best way to do that is just like pick the color, like the bubble color. In this one I did like a seafoam green, and I've got some seafoam green scrap. So what I'm going to do is just take the diamond glaze and put a little bit on it while we're working. Maybe it might be sealed up. That might be a deciding factor too, if I have to stab the crap out of this to get it open. Yeah, it's clogged. Let's just, whoa, put some on there anyway and see what it does. See how it dries. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside and decide if it's worth stabbing that glue or not, or that diamond glaze open or not. Okay, back to gluing. So finish putting your reflections on there. And now that those are all done, he should be dry and stuck the way we want him. Okay, make sure it folds up completely. Okay, and he does. His little fin is gonna pop out of the card. I might have to fix that. A little shorter fin would be okay. Okay, so that folds. This is for the front. This is for, I'm gonna put one bubble in the or one big bubble on the front, and I think 2 littles. So that's all for the front. This one goes over here on the side, and so I'm gonna start gluing that. I put these 2 green ones in the, or the 2 little green ones in the back, and one of these and a green one on the side. They're gonna go back there in the back. And then this one goes on the front. Okay, so I can't decide if I want those back there like that, or, and then just this front and center, or maybe 1 in the back and then 2 up on the front piece. Sorry, I got off the screen. Here you go. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one here on the side and kind of cover up that pop spot. And I just realized I put too much glue on there because I was thinking about the back one. Scooch that down and kind of hold it while it sticks. This one's going to stay in the back, and so I'm going to put it right above that pop-up. Actually, I have room on the side. I'm going to put it to the side. Here we go. And then this orange one is going to kind of go in the center of the 2 big green ones, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue down here on the bottom and stick it on that second pop-up piece. And if you need to, you can press that flat so you can get a good push on it. This little seaweed went crooked. Went off the screen again. There we go. Pop him loose. Readjust. Re-glue. I miss the days of the original scrappy glue formula. That stuff, you wouldn't have been able to pull your cardstock off after that amount of time. It just would have been stuck. Okay, so So I'm going to close it and just get a good press on it and then open it back up. Okay. And then we want one of these little green guys in the front or on the inside. So I'm going to put some glue on it. And I've also got some pop-up dots that I'm going to use, I think, on some of the bubbles. But this guy I want back here behind the shark. And same with this. Down in that bottom corner. Okay. And now we are ready for some bubbles. So this guy, I'm going to pop up actually. I'm going to grab a pop-up glue dot. Stick it to the back. And then I'm going to put it right there. And then we've got two more little ones. So I'm going to grab two more dots. Put one here and one here. Okay, so that just gives it a little bit more dimension. So there's the pop-up part of our card. Ready to go. When we pop it open, he's pretty and cute. And then we're ready to attach this part inside. You've got room for a sentiment there on the bottom piece if you want happy birthday or the rest of the lyrics. Let's make sure it closes here. This part's gonna stick out on mine, so I'm gonna fix it so it doesn't stick out on your file. Your top fin's just gonna be a little bit shorter. Okay, let's go ahead and do the front of the card and then we'll let all that stuff dry before we insert them in there. And the red, I'm gonna make the red bigger so that you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so the front of this one. This piece kind of got torn up on the back when it was cutting, so I'm gonna put it on the left. That's kind of nice too because it'll be the opposite of the inside one. So I'm gonna put it over here. And I was gonna put this fin here. So I think I'll put this over on the left also. And you can decide if you want more dimension on the front of your card also. You could pop dot these up as well, just so that there's a little bit more 3D up here too. I think I'm gonna do that just for fun. I'm gonna put this big bubble over here. And glue his little tail on. And then I'm going to pop dot those other two little bubbles. And my diamond glaze is still drying. I'm not really patient enough for some of that stuff. I think a bubble here above his fin. And then the do is going to go down here, so I'm going to put this other bubble up here. And I got that a little too close to the top. And that one's kind of crickety for reflection, but meh. Did I do that with these two? Nope, I did good. Okay, so here's that diamond glaze. It's kind of shiny, but it's also kind of warping it, and it's almost set up, so it's a little three-dimensional. But I think with the pop dots, my bubbles are already kind of three-dimensional. I'm not going to worry about the diamond glaze. So let's go ahead and glue this inside here. Get this out of the way. Okay, so he is ready to be popped up, and then we can do the words on the front. If you wanted to cut your greeting on the front, the do out of vinyl, you could do that too and then just use it as a sticker, or if you've got sticker paper of some sort. I just did it out of cardstock. I think I'm gonna run it through my Xyron. I don't know, I have to check my Xyron and see if the sticky stuff is still sticky, because it kind of expires after a while, and it's been a while since I touched my Xyron. So I'm just tucking the folds together in there, and then I'm actually going to close it to press it because I want everything to stay lined up, and I want to be able to put some good pressure on it without having to bend things. Okay, so now it it should pop right open when you're ready, and you should have a little shark. So closed, open, 3-dimension. Yep, super cute, ready for your greeting. I'm gonna go ahead and put the doot doot do on the front, and then I'll show you what that looks like after I figure out my Xyron. If it works, then I'll come back and show you how to do that. If not, then I'll be gluing by hand, and I'll just show you the finished product in a second. Okay, so it looks like my Xyron is still sticky. It's a Xyron Create a Sticker, and you just buy these new cartridges to go in it when the sticky runs out. You can tell mine's mostly used. I'm about to run out, but it's been a while since I've made any stickers because of vinyl. So I'm gonna just pull off these little letters here, and I'll just do a few to show you, and then I'll finish it off camera. But you just drop those in there. You kind of want to make sure they stay upright as you slide them down in there. Okay, and you want them to be down inside there and touching where the sticker stuff goes. I don't know, the lighting's a little wrong here, but basically I slid them down in there so that they're in the beginning of that cellophane. And then you just pull on this until you see the letter disappear, and then you know you're ready for the next few letters. Okay, and I always just squeeze as many as I can get in there across the bottom before I pull. Okay. Sometimes you'll let one go and it'll slide and go in funky, and so you just do what you gotta do. And then the other thing is make sure these D's stay D's and don't turn into B's like boy, because they might flip over on you as you stick them down in there. Okay, so we'll do one more do-do. Actually, I got 2 in there, so let's just stop there for a second. So I'm going to pull that through, tear it off, and then just give it a rub all around those letters and kind of inside the circles of the letters to make the adhesive that I'm not using stick to this top part. And then the adhesive that I want on the O is going to be underneath it, and so it's going to stick to that cardstock. Okay, so once you've given it a good rub and you're sure you've gotten all the edges kind of, then you can separate this top. It's kind of like transfer tape, but it's sticky. Okay, so you pull that off and it takes all the extra adhesive with it. If any part's kind of stuck to your letters, you can dab it again and get the rest of that adhesive off there. Okay, so it kind of cleans it up. And now these are stickers. So you should just be able to pull one off and place it on your card, and it'll be stuck. Okay. Much quicker than trying to get glue onto the tiny edges of those O's. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these, and then I will show you the final card. Okay, there it is, all done. So you should have your front and your inside all 3D and poppable and ready to go. Okay, some little one is going to love that card. Okay, mine's folding a little crickety, but and I will make sure to fix the file so that your little fin doesn't poke out, and it makes it easier to mail if you need to. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you at the next one.